Social Security benefits could be negatively impacted in a matter of just weeks if we don't get swift action out of Congress over the next couple days here, as they have some very important business to do right in front of them. So let's get into it and discuss what is actually going on. And I also want to make it very clear, I am not sharing this information with you to scare anybody, but rather I'm sharing this with you because it is very important and it is something that is actually really going on out there right now. Let's talk about this. Welcome and thanks so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and I'm back with you each and every day in very important videos just like this one to let you know what is going on, especially as it pertains to your critically important Social Security benefits, including retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, and VA benefits. So let's get into it and discuss what Congress needs to do and why your benefits could be disrupted literally in a matter of just weeks if they don't take action very, very soon here. All right, so as you probably know, because we've talked about this a few times over the last couple months, there's this whole talk right now about raising the debt ceiling and or suspending the debt limit, right? So you've heard about these things. In fact, we just talked about this again recently. There's also the federal budget that needs to be negotiated out by the end of this month, and or a continuing resolution to make sure that the government remains funded. Otherwise, they may go into a shutdown starting in early October. Well, with all that being said, they have a lot in front of them, Congress. They need to figure all this out. Otherwise, we could be negatively impacted in a big, big way, especially tens of millions of Social Security beneficiaries. So here's what we do know. Just the other day, the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, was out and she said that Social Security benefits could be disrupted, as in stopped, if we do not get action out of Congress to either raise or suspend the debt ceiling. Now, before we go any further, I just want to clarify this a little bit further. It does not mean that your Social Security benefits are going to stop forever. No, that's not what we're saying. What would happen, because the government wouldn't have a way to get these funds distributed out to the people. Basically, the funds would be disrupted and possibly delayed by possibly even weeks or months. So yeah, I mean, this would be a really bad situation. I mean, just imagine, you already need every last penny from your stimulus, from your Social Security check, but yet to think that it may be delayed as a result of this would be an ugly situation, as you can see, right? So with that being said, I wanted to clarify that a little bit further, but essentially what Congress needs to do is they need to come together and they need to either suspend and or raise the debt limit, because this is what's going to hang everything up right now, because anything that is funded by the government, the federal government right now, will be impacted if they actually do not raise the debt ceiling and or suspend, simply because the government will be broke. The Treasury will have zero money left. Get what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm going to bring my wife in, Corey. She's going to read a very short article to you, and this will kind of explain things a little bit further and the statements right out of Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, and you can better understand this a little bit more. And then I'll come back with you for just a minute or two on the other side, and we'll run through some of the key takeaways out of this article. So Corey, take it away, and I'll see all of you again in just a minute, and we can explain. All right, take it away, Corey.
This article is from CNBC, written by Lori Konish. What debt ceiling woes could mean for Social Security benefits. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen made headlines this week with an op-ed suggesting government checks could run dry if Congress doesn't raise the debt ceiling. Nearly 50 million seniors could stop receiving Social Security checks for a time, Yellen wrote. The House of Representatives have passed a bill to temporarily fund the government and suspend the debt limit. However, that legislation could fail in the Senate. If lawmakers cannot come to an agreement, the government would shut down on October 1st. Social Security beneficiaries may breathe a sigh of relief to know that the program's funds will still be there to pay their checks, regardless of what happens with the debt ceiling negotiations, according to Nancy Altman, president of Social Security Works, an advocacy group focused on expanding benefits. However, there is the possibility that a government shutdown could delay how fast that money reaches people. Social Security is sugrigious, I'm not saying that right, which is a legal term, which means it's on its own, according to Altman. My reading of the law is that Social Security will not be affected and shouldn't be affected, Altman said. Social Security, which was created in 1935, has never missed a benefit payment. One key reason why that will not change now is the fact that it is a pension plan with a pension trust that is separate from the government's general operating fund, Altman said. That really sets it apart and makes it more secure. The assets reserves is the combined trust funds used to pay retirement and disability benefits, and it was $2.9 trillion at the end of 2020, according to the Social Security Administration. At the same time, 175 million workers were contributing payroll taxes to Social Security. Employees pay 6.2% of their wages, which is matched by employers, on up to $142,800 in income as of 2021. Self-employed workers pay 12.4%. Even if the debt ceiling does not get raised, funds from payroll taxes would still continue to come into the government, Altman said. Those contributions go towards the program's trust funds and are used to pay benefits. Social Security's combined trust funds for retirement and disability can continue to pay full benefits until 2034, according to the recently released Social Security Trustees Report from 2021. At that point, 78% of promised benefits will be payable. If the debt ceiling doesn't get raised for a decade, which nobody thinks is going to happen, that's when there's going to be a problem, Altman said. But checks delays could happen. However, if Congress is unable to reach an agreement in time to prevent a government shutdown, there is a possibility that could delay distribution of the money. So long as Social Security employees are deemed essential government workers who remain in the job, benefit checks will continue to go out. In 2018 shutdown, Social Security continued to issue checks. However, the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare recently warned that benefit checks could be delayed for weeks or even longer if Congress fails to either raise or suspend the debt limit. This is not the first time debt around Social Security and the debt ceiling has come up. In 2011, then President Barack Obama said Social Security benefit payments would stop during a shutdown. However, at that time, the Social Security Administration said checks would still go out, though the processing of benefit applications could be delayed.
All right, so there it is. As you can see right in the article, the statements out of Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, who's simply saying that Social Security benefits could be disrupted as a result of the federal budget, as in if they don't get it figured out and the government goes into a shutdown, and or if they do not raise and or suspend the debt ceiling, right? So yeah, Congress certainly has a lot cooking on their plate right now, right? So they need to get some things done here. But as you also noticed later on in the article, according to Social Security spokespeople, they basically mentioned that Social Security is completely separate from federal government funds, as in it's not out of the general fund. Therefore, Social Security operates as a pension. Therefore, the pension fund essentially has $2.9 trillion in it as of the end of 2020. Therefore, they have all this money in their pension fund, so the money is still available. It's not that the money is going to be gone and you won't be getting it anymore. That's not the case. What they're basically saying is payments may be delayed as a result of everything going on. Now, the real question would be, how long is this delay going to be if we get to that point? Are we talking a week? Are we talking 3 weeks? Are we talking a month? What are we talking here? Because think of that. Tens of millions of people rely on these critical payments every single month. Could you imagine? You already need every single last penny out of your check. Just imagine if they said, oh, just kidding, we're going to be delayed about 3 weeks this month, so expect your check, at the end of the month. The last week of the month, feel free to look for it then, or, whenever. I mean, could you imagine that? That would be such a bad situation. I don't know what they would actually do there, but that would be not a good thing if they delayed these payments. Even just one day, that would not be a good thing either. How many of you wait for your payment each and every month, right? You twiddle your thumbs, waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally you wake up one day and it hits your account and you can finally have a little sigh of relief because you have a little bit of money once again. But as we all know, it goes very fast, right? Whatever your payment is, it doesn't really matter. It all goes so fast, especially now as we're paying so much more for everything out there right now. So my point is, like I said earlier, I don't want to share this with you to scare anybody. I'm not doing that to scare anybody. I'm simply telling you what is going on out there right now. And some of these announcements out of the Treasury Secretary, as well as what is really going on. This is a real thing. So if Congress doesn't get their act together and actually work on this and either raise and or suspend the debt ceiling and work on some kind of continuing resolution, which we already know they are working on it, if they don't get this done, we could potentially be facing this. So yeah, kind of scary, right? Once again, one more thing we don't need to worry about right now with everything else going on. So I just feel like one more reason Congress really needs to get together, issue a stimulus check, and ultimately additional relief for the American people right now. So I hope this helps you out. Again, please feel free to comment down below, leave your questions, comments. I'll do whatever I can to answer those for you. And please just rest assured, I am not here to scare, but I'm here to bring you information that is going on out there right now, things that are actually happening. So please have a nice day. Make sure to subscribe down below, share the videos with your friends, family, social media, and I'll be back later in another video to help you out in any way I can. Thank you. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see you again later in the next video.